The worst gig I ever did was a cruise ship, and it was recently. It was awful. I've avoided cruise ships for a couple of reasons. I've been doing this 30 years, and I've avoided cruise ships because, here is a club, I can say what I want to say. On a cruise ship, if you offend anybody, they helicopter you to fuck up the ship. And my act is a very New York act. I'm a Jewish comedian married to a black woman with a PhD who looks like an Indian. We live in an Italian neighborhood in Brooklyn. Everybody thinks I'm Puerto Rican, except Puerto Ricans think I'm a cop. So someone's going to get offended, right? So I've avoided cruise ships, right? But I'm like, I'm going to try it. You got to make the money. So I'm going to try it. So the process was you got to fly to Miami. There's a theater. You audition in front of this crowd. The cruise ship directors are mixed in with the crowd. And, and the guy I'm talking to is selling me hard on this thing. He's like, the crowd is hot. The crowd is fire. I get down there. He's totally misrepresented. 500 old Jews complaining. Where's the fire rigs? It's hot. I'm like, this guy. So, and I'm the only comedian on the showcase. It's myself, flamenco dancer, a boy band, a piano player, and then one of those Statue of Liberty people that just stands there and does the Statue of Liberty for 20 minutes, right? And this crowd is brutal, right? This crowd can't stand the performers. Like one by one, they're heckling them. These guys are bombing one by one. The flamenco dancer goes out, somebody shouts, speak up, Statue of Liberty, do something. Everybody's bombing. Finally, the piano player goes out, sings songs in Yiddish, fucking annihilates. Like just the whole place is like, yidle deedle diddle, yidle deedle diddle. Some lady stands up, I got a daughter in Queens single, call me, I gotta follow this guy. It's like following Springsteen in Jersey, it's this guy annihilates the fucking room. So, the cruise guy comes up to me and he's like, do you have any material about being Jewish? Because that's all they respond to. I'm like, I got this one joke I do in the clubs. He's like, what's that? And I'm like, I'm Jewish. I got a German Shepherd. That's a bad combination because he's always looking at me like he's thinking about the good old days. He doesn't bark. He just stands by the door and people walk by. Your papers. Show me your papers. We never got him fixed, so he humps everything in the house, including my wife's leg. Always looks at me while he's doing it. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. Yeah, there is your Messiah now. To me, a very funny joke. And the guy's like, no. He's like, there's survivors in the audience. So I'm like, all right, maybe not tonight. Lady. So I don't do that joke. Thank God, lady, right? I don't do that jokes. I made a strategic decision not to. And I get one cruise ship, and I won't mention the name. We'll call it, it's the budget cruise line. We'll call it Circus Cruises, right? So it's basically a floating fucking Denny's. So I gotta be out there for 8 days. I've never been on a boat that long. I snorkeled once for like an hour, so I'm a little nervous. I'm gonna get seasick and blah, blah, blah. So I look online, eat green apples. So I'm pounding green apples, right? So you're supposed to eat it when you're actually on the ship. So of course, the day I leave, I got explosive diarrhea. So that always helps with anxiety. So land in the George Bush Airport in Texas. I don't know if you guys ever been there, but there's a giant statue of George Bush running. I'm not getting political. I lean a little to the left, but that's scoliosis. And so it's all people from Texas going on this ship, right? And large people on the scooters. Goddamn, burn in there. Where's the buffet? Burn in there. Everybody got a sweatsuit, never did a sit up. So. The thing that distinguishes Circus Cruise from any other cruise ship is every other cruise ship, the passengers have their own cabin. Performers, you bunk with the passengers. You have your own cabin, but circus, you bunk with the crew below deck, right? So I get there, I gotta go in a separate door, you gotta fill out this form. Have you had diarrhea in the past month? Like, I'm lying now, I got secret diarrhea. I get to my cabin. I'm 6'4", this cabin is tiny. My head touches the ceiling, you wanna take a shit, you gotta put one leg in the shower. There's a speaker in the cabin. It's a captain making announcements constantly. It's always an Italian captain, welcome to the ship. It's nice, you're gonna love this. Ship on the water is blue, this side, the fish, this side, more water, green, blue, and fish. Nice. It's like none of this shit makes any sense. But this guy's high, right? So, I leave the cabin, look around, and I want to see what the food's like. And we get the crew food because we're performers. We get the crew food. So the crew is Filipino and Indian, 90% Filipino and Indian. So they rotate the food every week. So I just missed Filipino week, so it's Indian week. So I don't know. if you have a secret diarrhea, that's like a dicey thing to have, So I'm trying to find something safe to eat, and the chef hates me. I'm asking him stuff. I'm like, what is this naan? Naan is like a bread, but not. It's not. Is it spicy? Is it mild? It could be spice, could be mild. Depends. It's naan. You never have naan. I'm like, why do they call it naan? Because he wait too long, naan left. My God, it's got. So this guy irritated. So I see the piano player that I did the showcase with, right? And this guy's losing his mind, man. He's just like, hey, I'm on the ship, and they put a ping pong table by the piano, and every time I want to play piano, people playing ping pong, I can't take it as an artist. And I'm like, dude, you got to get the fuck away from me. I got to do my shit. We'll catch breakfast. That's my thing. Well, he's giving me bad juju. We'll catch breakfast. So. I do my first show that night. It's awful. It's all people from Texas. I go out there and make a strategic error. I'm like, hey, I'm from New York. Somebody shouts out, pussy. And you can't respond. You're not allowed to respond. I can't be like, hey, I'll kick over your meth lab and punch your grandma on the tooth or whatever, the remaining tooth, I gotta be, so I'm very stressed. I can't, and every day I see the piano player. This guy's looking worse and worse. Like, this hang, I'm like, get away from me, dude. You're driving me crazy. So we get to like the sixth day, I wake up, there's a note under my door. I need to talk to you about something very important. Signed, the piano player, meet me for breakfast. So I'm like, So I go to meet the guy for breakfast. He doesn't show up. I'm sitting there waiting. I look out the porthole. I see a helicopter fly off. I'm like, huh. So I asked one of the Filipino guys, I'm like, anybody seen a piano player? Like, yeah, we seen the piano player. They're like, every day people are complaining that the ping pong paddles are missing. So we got to go to the stock room, get more ping pong paddles, come back, put the ping pong. Next day, the ping pong paddles are missing. Stock room. Finally, 5th day in, we're out of ping pong paddles. We look on the security camera. In the middle of the night, we see the piano player sneak out, throw the paddles overboard. So we got the fucking helicopter, right? So now I'm alone on the ship. I don't have any friends or anything. So I wake up to a really strange announcement. In the morning, it's the captain. Welcome everybody, it's nice on the ship. We're looking for the lady Sandra Johnson. Sandra Johnson, please make yourself known. Coming to the front of the ship is nice, okay? I go back to sleep. 10 minutes later, make announcement for Sandra Johnson coming to the front of the ship. You're done coming to the front of the ship. Please come, okay? We got to talk with you. It's nice, that's fine. I wake up like 15 minutes later, now the guy's getting pissed, but he's trying to pretend. He's like, you're not in trouble, Sandra Johnson. We just want to talk with you. And make all these announcements. You don't show up. Somebody sees Sandra, send it to the front. About 10 minutes later, he gets on. He's like, okay, you don't want to come to the front of the ship? We're going to find you. We know you're on the ship. We're going to find you. So everybody go back to the cabin till we find the Sandra Johnson. Stay in the cabin. Don't leave the cabin, right? This guy totally, So we're on the cabin. We're waiting there. A little Filipino guy searches. This lady's disappeared. We can't find this lady anywhere. About 4 hours later, I poke my head out of the door and I see 2 crew members talk. Turns out this lady has fallen off the ship. And one of them's like, yeah, this lady fell off the ship. And the other guy's like, oh, not again. Right? So I'm like, oh. Right then the captain comes back on and is like, oh, okay, so we're not going to find Sandra Johnson. But tonight we have comedy show. So, okay. So you talk about the worst circumstances to do comedy in. So I go out there that night. I got to walk by the yellow ribbon where the lady has fallen off. There's another lady walking around with a Bible because Texas, this is the voyage of the damned. We're going down. I'm like, oh my God. I get to the showroom. People are very stressed out. The cruise director comes up and is like, do not say anything about the lady that fell off the ship. What are you talking about? How can I not? This is my job. How can I? This all week I locked in a cabin for 4 hours. Do not say anything about the lady that fell off the ship. I'm like, okay, fine. So I go up there, I just do the captain for like a half hour. I'm like, hey, everybody. So the Johnson I could not find was my Johnson. I look under my gut, there's my Johnson. I don't see that a long time. It does to my Johnson. People are laughing about the captain's dick. All of a sudden it gets quiet. I look in the back of the cabin, there's the captain standing there looking at me, and he starts saying shit. He's like, hey, who writes your jokes? I was like, hey, who's steering the ship? Right? People are like, ooh. He's like, hey, maybe I do your act, I'd be funnier. I'm like, maybe if I steer the ship, people don't fall the fuck off. Oh! Like, the lights cut on, the mic cuts off. But I learned something very important, that I may never be comfortable on cruise ships, but I love helicopters. I went to China. I did comedy in China. I did comedy in China. It was intense. It was a great experience. And I was very scared to go to China. I don't like flying for that long. It's fucking 13 hours. You know what I say? 13-hour flying. You got to fly all the different little places. But this is, and the people, New Yorkers who've never been to China will tell you bad shit about China. Like, don't fall asleep in public. You wake up, your back hurts. You see some kid on a bicycle with your kidney in a plastic bag. Like, So, yeah. So, but I'm like, I'm thinking about it. So the comedian who went before me calls me, and he's like, bro, it's the best gig you'll ever do, bro. If you do well, the tornado will get you, the promoter will get your tornado. If you do well, the promoter will get your tornado. I'm like, what's a tornado? He's like, bro, they take you to this Chinese massage parlor. A naked chick comes out. There's a rope hanging from the ceiling. She jumps up, climbs the rope, turns upside down, spins around, and blows you. And that's the tornado. I'm like, that doesn't even sound possible or comfortable or anything. It's one of those sexual things I don't understand. Like, I went over to my friend's house, and on his nightstand is a giant pacifier, but he doesn't have kids, right? So I'm like, what is the pacifier? He's like, it's not a pacifier, it's a butt plug. And I'm like, what do you do? He's like, you pop it in your ass. I'm like, that doesn't even, it sounds like a precautionary device. Like, you go out on a date with somebody, it's going well, you go home, you're getting busy, maybe you had a little Mexican food or something, all of a sudden, like, whoop, whoop, you pop that in, now you got an extra 20. Now you can go an extra 20, right? I'm like, I'm going to China, right? So I go to China, the shows are great. Everybody got the mask from the pollution. Everybody got the put it back. The air there was like doing a sit-up with a passed-out panda on your chest, and we hit the apex. You do a bong hit off a catalytic converter, and then repeat. It's crazy. I've never seen air like that. And Chinese people were funny. They know about American stuff. Like, some lady came up afterwards, and the thing was, you're not supposed to take a compliment. You immediately give a compliment. Like, so this lady came up after the show, said, like, you funny. And I was like, nah, you're funny. She looked at me, she's like, funny how? Like a clown? Funny how? And I'm like, oh shit, she Goodfellas me. So that was the vibe and everything. So about 5 shows in, the promoter comes up, this drunk Australian guy, and he's like, mate, we get you nice massage, mate. I'm like, what? Massage, mate, it's fucking nice, you gotta fucking love it, yeah, no. And I'm like, listen, man, is that tornado? He's like, yeah, no. And I'm like, listen, bro, I can't do that. He's like, don't be a cunt, mate. I think that's a compliment or something. So I'm like, bro, I'm like, as long as it's legit. He's like, yeah. So we go to this place, right? It's Chinese massage parlor. And this beautiful Asian lady's there, and I'm already suspicious. And she's like, would you like oil? I'm like, nah, sand, gravel, whatever. And she's not the one doing the massage. The one doing the massage comes out. She's big. She's built like a fucking Chinese Tyson. She's got the mask on, And we go in the room, and you got to wear pajamas, right? Pajamas. That's how you know it's not sexual. And they're one size fits all. I'm 6'4", 220. These are not scaled to me. So it's like fucking Spanx in my ass, and I'm like laying on this board, and they're nylon. And the lady's very strong, and the massage hurts. It's just the elbow and the knee, and she's breathing through the mask, And so only Chinese I know is ni hao shay shay, and only English she knows is no pain, no gain. So we're not communicating, right? The back hair is burning, and so after about a half hour, I'm like, listen, please, easy, just be easy. Okay, easy. So she does this, she gets easy, and she goes to, it's like a real soft, tickly massage. She goes to like the butt crack area, And I'm a dude, so I get a boner, but she can't see it. Right? But so right then, she hops up on my back. So it's her. She's a big lady. Her full weight on my weight on the boner, because there's a wooden board with the hole which I guess is for the tears for the eyes, but there's nothing here. So it's getting mushed flat like a fucking, like a school bus backing over a garden hose, or like someone making a panini sandwich. Like, I got fucking Tiananmen Square in my pants with a chicken cutlet, and this lady is just, and so I'm like, no pain, no gain. So finally I just pay her. I'm like, please, that's good. She leaves the room, so I'm like, she broke it, right? So I look, oh my God, it was horrible. It's mush flat. It had like a Zika baby head, and if I can look like in a slap fight with a bear from The Revenant. She comes back in the room, she hands me a glass of water with a flower in it. So she leaves, so I put my dick in it. I thought that was what it was for, to revive it like a ballpark Frank. She walks back in, she's like, no, this is a tea. So I'm trying to explain and play it off. I'm like, in America, sometimes we siphon for later, like a camel, the water. You never know, there's a shortage, sustainable. She leaves. So now I got to exit this place. And the lady's at the front desk. She's showing the other lady, you put the dick in the glass, and I'm like, ni hao shay shay. So I go back to my hotel room. I'm like, let me just make sure it's not broken, So I throw in, light a candle. I throw on some porn. And, it's Asian porn. I'm in China. I don't know if you watch a lot of it, but the women don't seem to be enjoying themselves just based on the sounds they make. There's a lot of, and I'm very tender, so I'm like, so whoever's listening through the walls, it sounds like somebody got their teenage daughter's first long distance phone bill. Like, Right then, my wife Skypes me. I got to shut down the operation. I put the towel, and hold the phone up. She can only see the eyes. She's like, why are your eyes all red? I'm like, the pollution, it's crazy. She's like, you look like you were crying. I'm like, I miss you. And it's like, what do you do tonight? Listen, I got a massage. She's like, did it have a happy ending? I'm like, no, cinematically speaking, it was more of a tearjerker. So she hangs up the phone, right? So I'm like, I gotta make it up to her. I gotta make it. So it's the last day of the tour. I get a swag bag, and it's got all kinds of shit in it. It's got the little cat with the Hitler salute, those guys, and then and it had a butt plug in it with a feather, so it's kind of formal. So I'm like, okay, let's try it. Let's try it. Right? It gets quiet in here, right? Let's try it. But it's not an easy thing to pitch. That's why it's quiet in here. You can't be like, hey, it's a nice thing. Hey, look at this. So we have a couple glasses of wine when I get back in a pitch tour. I'm like, how about this butt plug? She's like, fuck no, I'm not doing that. I'm like, why not? She's like, it's made in China. What if the part breaks off at the end and it goes up in me? What are we gonna do? Like, what am I gonna say? I was fucking, got a little heated in the dreidel game or something. And she's like, oh, I gotta go to the emergency room. I'm like, it will never make it to the emergency room. We'll never make it to you. I'm your husband. I'll take care of you. Yeah, I'll make a call. We've got a friend who's got tiny hands who can keep a secret. You got the jar of peanut butter and the dog. We'll figure it out. I eventually talk her into it. And it was crazy. Because it sounds like it's going to be easy, but it's so hard. It's so fucking hard to do. It's like a lot of, pushing and pulling and crying and ow, it hurts. And finally, when we got it in my ass, I got to say that that feather looked good. The feather looked really good. And if you bend it up, you can tickle your balls. So, all right. I've alienated a lot of my friends because I'm a shitty friend. They do this and so I have, I have one friend come over. He's hungry. And so I make him a sandwich. He's very sensitive about everything. I make him a sandwich. I bring it out. He's like, I can't eat that. I'm like, why? He's like, because I got a gluten allergy. I'm like, well, what are the symptoms? He's like, you feel full and tired. I'm like, well, that's what the fuck is supposed to happen after you eat bread. You're not supposed to be famished and alert. So that was the other friend. So I have one friend in the neighborhood, an English guy. English people think I'm a genius. Like, no matter what I say. Like, I'm going to go to the store to buy some eggs. Hey, that's brilliant. So this guy, I've become his sort of conduit. I've been sort of his middleman to understanding Brooklyn. He wanted to take the train. He wanted to bring his bike on the train. So he was like, could I help him, seal the deal the first time? So I go down there. The guy immediately gets into an argument with the subway token booth clerk. Nobody can make themselves understood. It's like a cultural impasse. He was like, excuse me, right, I've got this bicycle, right? I'd like to bring the bicycle on the tube. Can I bring the bicycle on the tube?
What you gonna do? You gonna take that card, you gonna slide it through the slot.
Cheers, Bree. I've got a bicycle, the wheels ching-ching. I'd like to bring the bicycle on the tube.
You gonna take that card, you gonna slide it through the slot, the line where the money at.
Right, I think if I'd like to bring the bicycle on the tube.
Look, I can't understand what you're saying. You need to speak English. Ain't no tube down there, there's a motherfucking train.
The dude just snapped. He looks at me, he's like, bruv, how do you New Yorkers understand each other? I was like, knowledge. Good night, everybody. Thank you so much.